So, you're in the market to buy an apartment. Should you buy a co-op or a condo? Well, they are both set up very differently. In a co-op, you are buying shares in a building. You own the space, the apartment, however, you own it as shares. In a condo, you also own that space, that apartment, but you own it as you would a house. The structure is different. Now, in both the co-op and a condo, there are governing boards. It's a small group of people who will oversee the rules. In a co-op, it is called a co-op board, and a condo, it is the association, the condo association. Both co-ops and condos have common spaces which are governed by rules, and you must abide by these rules. One of the main differences in a co-op and a condo is the sale process. In a co-op, the prospective buyer must get permission from the co-op board. So, let's say you found a co-op that you like, your offer was accepted by the owner, you did an inspection of the co-op, and you signed a contract. Now it is time to submit the co-op board application package. And this application package will ask for a lot of information. Tax returns, bank statements, a lot. And each co-op board has its own requirements regarding credit score, income, and debt-to-income ratio, meaning how much your expenses are in contrast to your income. So before you move forward with the purchase of a co-op, you want to make sure that you meet the requirements of the co-op, because there is a fee for the co-op board application, and it can range from a few hundred to as high as $1,000. And if you are denied by the board, this fee is not refundable. You will get back the down payment from the homeowner. However, if you paid for an inspection, you will not get that fee back. So before you rush forward in the sale of a co-op, just make sure that you meet all the requirements so that you don't waste money as well as time. So let's say you want to buy an apartment and rent it out. Should you buy a co-op or a condo? Well, I would say neither. Now, there are co-op buildings and condo buildings where you can simply buy an apartment and rent it out. There are not many of them, but you can. However, bear in mind that the rental rules are subject to change, and they can change any time. In most buildings, condos and co-ops, only a certain amount of units can be rented at a time, and if this number is reached, then you will be placed on a waiting list. Co-ops can be a lot harder to rent out, as a prospective tenant also has to submit a co-op board application package. This package tends to be a lot more lenient than for a buyer. However, there is usually a package and there's usually a fee that the prospective tenant has to pay. Now, because of board approval, the time it takes to buy a co-op is a lot longer than it takes to buy a condo. So once the contract is signed and the buyer submits the co-op board application package, it can take up to 60 days for the board to interview the prospective buyer and give their approval. Once approval is given, it can take about 15 to 20 days to close. In a condo, on the other hand, once the contract is signed, the condo may have a short application of their own that the buyer has to fill out. The condo complex will usually do a background check, and the condo complex does have the right to refuse a buyer. However, this right is rarely exercised. So the sale process of a condo is a lot shorter than that of a co-op. Now, quite a few clients of mine who bought co-ops originally had wanted to buy a condo. However, they bought a co-op in the end because condos tend to be a lot more expensive than co-ops, and there are a lot fewer condos around. So if you're in the market to buy an apartment, just know that there are more co-ops around, meaning there are more choices, and they tend to be a lot more inexpensive than buying a condo. So just be aware of these differences, and if you're buying a co-op, make sure you meet all the co-op board requirements before you sign a contract.